Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl in 3D. Now, as you know, The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl is a 2005 3D superhero film that was co-written and directed by Robert Rodriguez, who was also known for doing the Spy Kids movies. And I would say The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl was taking a break from the whole Spy Kid genre and doing kind of something different. Again, there's a good idea deep down. It just feels like a really quick premise. So the premise of the film is meant to follow Max, who's kind of this outsider 10-year-old boy living in the suburbs of Austin. We kind of see how Max is a bit more imaginative and even creates his own kind of superhero duo, Sharkboy and Lavagirl. And we do kind of see how Linus, who's meant to be the bully, kind of treats Max more like a punching bag and even kind of dismisses his ideas. And I think when you do have the kind of school principal, Mr. Electrid, I think his character works. Like, you can tell he does try to get Max and Linus to kind of try and be friends. He doesn't enforce it, but you can tell his heart's going to be in the right place. And you can kind of tell his parents do try to play the supporting role in trying to be there for Max. And we kind of see how one day Max is whisked suddenly by Sharkboy and Lavagirl to come to the planet Drool in helping them deal with a dangerous threat that's taken over planet Drool. Now, there is a good idea about it, like exploring the planet Drool, but it just feels like the premise feels a little too quickly. Like, yeah, you kind of have Sharkboy being the jerky character, but later does warm up to Max. And when you do have Lavagirl, she seems to be more like the voice of reason and kind of seems more like she wants to find out more about her true origin. And you can kind of tell Max has to kind of use his imagination also as well, trying to deal with the threat that's taken over planet Drool. And I think there is a good idea deep down, it just feels a bit wasted. I think when you've got the dream version of Mr. Electrid, I think they could have used him as the main villain and also kind of have Linus as the sort of lackey. It just feels like it's kind of obvious that Linus is going to be the sort of the villain, and it did kind of seem like he got off a little too easy. Not badly off easy, more like, oh, let's forget about this sort of easy thing. Again, they could have shown maybe habit signs that Linus isn't evil or bully, just kind of feels a bit jealous of Max's kind of imaginative mind. I think at least with Digimon Adventure 02, I think they at least got Ken's redemption done well, because one, you could kind of tell the next generation of Digidestins had mixed feelings about Ken joining the team, and you can kind of tell Davis knew it was going to be hard for them to kind of see it for themselves. And you can kind of tell Yogi had mixed feelings and kind of understood what Davis was trying to say, but had to see it for herself. I also kind of think Max's parents just feel a little bit thrown in with no real premise. Like, it seems like they're just in the brink of a divorce, and then suddenly it just seems like everything's alright. I think at least with Infinity Train, you could kind of understand why two parents did try, and them being divorced was probably for the best. And sometimes, yeah, divorced parents can sometimes work things out, but they know they can't always be together. I think there was a lot more they wanted to do with Sharkboy and Lavagirl, but it just seems like a really go in, do that kind of premise. And I know you would see the characters again in the Netflix film We Can Be Heroes, which sort of implies that Max created this sort of universe, but made it more into his own comic book series when he was older. I think as well is that, yeah, there's a lot of characters thrown in, like Mr. Electric's daughter, with no real premise, and kind of seems thrown in to be the kind of only friend character and sort of love interest. And I think Linus is just thrown in with no real good redemption story. It feels like there really was an intention to do something bigger with Sharkboy and lavagirl, but just feels way too rushed at points. And it seems like, yeah, the story goes off a little underdeveloped. So I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs down. While there is a good idea, it just feels like, yeah, the villain gets off a little too easy, the plot just feels weak and generic, and Sharkboy and lavagirl just feel like really poor and sort of really weak characters. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.